The ANC has postponed its nomination process that was to begin today. The party is now expected to hold a special National Executive Committee meeting this weekend to approve a membership audit of all members and branches. Let's discuss this further then. We are now joined via Zoom by political analyst Rebone Tau. Thanks very much, as always, for availing yourself to SABC News. A pleasure to see you, as always.
Good day, Afro, and good day to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Rebone, your reaction, please, to the ANC nomination process being delayed. And, of course, we're hearing now that there will be a special NEC meeting that has been called for the weekend.
No, absolutely, that makes sense. And I'll tell you why. Because the deadline of submission of membership in terms of payments, whether renewal of members, was on the 3rd of September. So it did not make sense. Why would you want to start on the 7th when only the membership cutoff date was on the 3rd? Because the auditors need to go through and check which branches have made the final cut that will be participating in December. Because yes, you might have reached threshold in terms of the branches required, but then there might have been branches that had membership that had lapsed, or in some cases, especially where they've not gone to the regional conferences, they've not gone to the provincial conferences. You find that there's a big struggle in terms of the membership in those provinces.
Yeah, there is a sense that the issue of, I want to talk about positions actually now. There's a sense that the deputy president position is likely to be the most contested when eventually, of course, the nomination process does indeed continue. And then there's also another thought process that, that says that President Cyril Ramaphosa won't be contested as what, of course, has been called the RET faction, don't have a clear presidential candidate. Is there any truth to any of those particular statements?
I mean, if you look at right now, we have not seen from even the RET faction who are they fielding, as the candidate. Yes, we can see, for an example, people like Lindo Sisulu, the ground campaigning. We're hearing that Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is campaigning again, going to this conference. But there's not a clear candidate where we can say is aligned probably to the RET faction that will contest President Ramaphosa. So as things stand, President Ramaphosa remains the only candidate. And I'll tell you, for an example, if you look at the statements that have also been coming out from the different provinces, they are saying that they're rallying behind President Ramaphosa's name for second term.
Yeah, and then we've heard the likes of Tony Ngeni, though, on the back of you talking about the support for President Cyril Ramaphosa. Tony Ngeni, a senior NEC member, very clearly saying that he doesn't support President Cyril Ramaphosa's second term. How much weight do statements like these from senior members have in the long run?
I mean, we know that Tony has not been a big fan of President Ramaphosa, I mean, he's someone that we can say probably is linked to the RET faction, So him saying that is nothing new, but is the issue that do they have a candidate? That is the problem, that no one seems to be clear who will be, especially right now is crunch time. Because even if you say, okay, fine, the NEC will sit on Sunday, but probably the NEC will communicate to its structures on Monday, and probably they might start next week, Wednesday, for example, the nominations. And there needs to be a name that is going to say, we're identifying this name with this particular faction for the position of President Ramaphosa, because otherwise President Ramaphosa might actually be the only one who gets nominated by structures,
Yeah, I want to.
And I mean, coming back to the issue of the DP, I mean, that is the highly contested position. I mean, if you look at the Gauteng alone, you've got the TG coming from this province. You've got also the likes of Kensani Kubai coming from this province, also contesting that position of the TG, of the deputy president, besides the other candidates like Mpumalanga. You have, by the way, Ronald Lamola is from Mpumalanga, and the current deputy president from Mpumalanga. And we're all waiting to see what is going to be the next move of the current sitting deputy president, Diti Mabuza. And we remember what he did in Nazareth. So him being quiet, it's very interesting, because this is what he did also going to Nazareth. He was very quiet until the 11th hour. Yeah,
so we don't know what his actual plan is at this time. And who knows, we might be saying that the RET faction doesn't have a clear, candidate for the position of president, and it might be the person that is keeping quiet. Is that likely, or, is that not really a possibility?
I mean, the question is that will they forgive him for what he did in Nazareth?
Yeah.
You know, because he's the one that actually betrayed that call. He gave his numbers to the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, for him to get the win that he got. So if he has been forgiven, probably they might likely consider him. But then there's also other discussions that there's also the name of Zolim Kiza, but although his campaign over the past few weeks has been also very quiet, and then there's some that are saying that, okay, Nkosazana might be, but when you speak to some people within the RT faction, they are not happy. They don't seem to be wanting to support Nkosazana again this time around, you know. And then there's also some discussions. Some might say that they might want Paul, and the question some are saying, is he brave enough to contest President Ramaphosa? So those are things that are really at play at this present moment. It's not yet clear, and that's why I'm saying that they have to consolidate their candidate this week so that when the nomination process starts, their candidate can be nominated by structures.
Yeah, and just as we wrap up our conversation, Rebone, I just want to touch on this, which we've been talking about as I started the bulletin, the two main stories I started with, which is about, you know, the issue of coalitions. The ANC in Johannesburg refuting allegations of bribery and corruption leveled against them by coalition partners in the city of Johannesburg. And then in the Nelson Mandela Bay in the Eastern Cape, meeting expected to debate a motion of no confidence against their mayor, Eugene Johnson, has been adjourned. We just had local government elections recently, and already, you know, we're seeing these sort of problems. I mean, can one just clearly say that maybe coalitions aren't actually working in South Africa as much as these parties, you know, when elections happen, they come together, but in the long run, it never really works out, or seldom works out.
I think before I move to that, I want to finalize on this issue of the nomination process, which I think, for me, I need to talk about this, is that we're seeing a foreign tendency in the ANC where provinces are pronouncing the PECs, while this conference is for branches.
Yeah.
So they are undermining the branches to give them that opportunity to engage amongst themselves. Now they are seem to be wanting to give direction to the branches on who to nominate. But coming back now of coalitions, whether we like it or not, coalitions are here to stay. But the biggest problem is that what makes these coalitions in South Africa? Yeah. What drives them from an ideological point of view? Because I don't think that they're driven by ideology. You know, if you look at even the EFF supporting the DA, you know, you go to, I mean, I can give an example. When they removed the speaker of Johannesburg, in Mangaung, the whip of the ANC was removed, you know. So it shows that there is indeed a lot of instability in this coalitions. It's not about the interest of the people. They're not ideological driven, but they're driven by interest of individuals within the different parties.
All right, Rebone, thanks very much to you for that. Political analyst Rebone Tau was speaking to us about the goings-on, of course, in the ANC as they postponed the nomination process that was to begin today.